Trevor's going A for the Bengals. A couple of the moves making that work here. T. Higgins is still on the roster, so that's a thing. I think either way, with a player as good as Higgins, whether you're going to have him for one more year, lock him up long term, trade him for a high draft pick, there's a lot of good that can come out of just having T. Higgins and developing him as a top receiver. They're going to lose DJ Reader on the defensive line, but you bring in Trent Brown to play right tackle, Geno Stone at safety. Von Bell comes back at safety. It feels like they handled a position that they struggled at last year at safety. Mike Gesicki at tight end. And I really liked what they did in the draft with Amarius Mims, Chris Jenkins Jr., and then, of course, wide receiver Jermaine Burton.
Yeah. It is, however, I mean, so part of this is like you look at where they were coming out of the season, where they are right now, because you lose guys like DJ Reader. Like, they've done a really good job of backfilling and replacing what you lost in DJ Reader. You did, however, lose DJ Reader, and therefore, you know, you sort of look at all their moves, and they're doing good jobs of getting contingency and like backfilling losses, but they almost all are replacing losses of some description. So even, you know, Burton comes in, it's like, well, you lost Tyler Boyd. Like, it's a loss. So I don't know if I can. And A feels generous to this offseason because I think almost it's like ignoring the departures and just focusing on how well they've done at replacing them.
I think those departures are expected, though, when we've talked about teams like the Bengals and the Bills.
But it's like Buffalo, right? Like, you could have done something different. You could have kept Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis. Instead, you're like, no, we're moving on. And it might be the right decision to move on.
But when you have so much money locked up in the quarterbacks, and there's the handful of teams, the Bengals, the Bills, the Chiefs, the teams that have this long-term quarterback contract, you know that people are going to be out the door, right? Your second tier of free agents. And they have to say, we can't pay Trey Hendrickson and a DJ Reader on the defensive side of the ball. We have to choose one, so we need to have that contingency. We need to get younger at certain positions. And I think the Bengals have done a really good job of that.
It's the reality of the situation when you have a quarterback in particular on that much money. But you still have to sort of look at it in honest terms and say, are they better or worse at each given spot? And certainly in some positions, they're worse than they were previously. And that means you can't give them an A for it just because they've put a body in that spot.
I mean, the Trent Brown move, I think, helped a lot where they could get 1 year out of him and get Amarius Mims as your upside tackle. I loved Chris Jenkins as a second-round pick. Again, there's no one-to-one DJ Reader replacement,
right?
But Jenkins is a playmaker on that defensive line. You know how I feel about Jermaine Burton. I'm not concerned about Tyler Boyd for the Bengals because of what I think Burton can do immediately. He had a 60-yard touchdown at camp.
Against Air?
But it was 60 yards. Mm-hmm. And you could tell they're going to feature him because they threw it to him, and there was a video online.
Yeah.
So that he's going to be a hit.
I think actually there were 2 videos.
Yeah, there was multiple.
Like multiple.
Just saying. The hype is real.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm going to go to every training camp this year.
You should.
Just
live tweet everything Jermaine Burton does.
That's what I'm going to do.
All camp.
That's what I'm going to do. Because he's going to be uncoverable.
Yeah.
So, I think the safety position, too, I don't think we can gloss over that, right? They lost Jesse Bates last year and Von Bell, and you could tell communication, flexibility defensively, a lot of things weren't there. Even though Jordan Battle, I think, played pretty well as a rookie, you just didn't get the same the expected play out of a guy like Dax Hill. They're going to move Dax Hill around now, maybe play more corner. He did a good job covering tight ends. There's flexibility on the defensive side of the ball now because you have Geno Stone and then Von Bell coming back. So I think they handled a lot of their questions and weaknesses, even though, you lose some veterans in DJ Reader and Tyler Boyd.
Yeah,
and Jonah Williams.
I mean, I think you give them credit. I think they've done a good job of replacing the gaps that were created on this roster. They did, however, create those gaps on the roster, and I'm not sure that they are significantly better at most of those spots. Trent Brown should be better than Jonah Williams on the offensive line, and Amarius Mims is now a contingency plan there as well. That's a good thing, but they're not even close to replacing DJ Reader because there basically is no replacement for a guy like DJ Reader. Certainly not without investing massively in that position. Tyler Boyd and Jermaine Burton might be fine, might be a positive. They might be better at that spot. Joe Mixon to Zach Moss, maybe that's a wash, but I don't see A in this. Like when you look at, there are teams that we're talking about, they're getting A off seasons because they've improved dramatically. I'm not 100% clear the Bengals are better than they were, 4 months ago.
I think you need to grade on the curve of, do you have a ton of money invested in the quarterback or do you not? And so the Bengals, the Bills, the Chiefs, every year, the Lions now, I mean, every year they're not going to be able to keep.
But the Lions got better.
Yeah, because they have a buffer year here with Goff's contract. That's going to be more challenging in the coming years. They can't just fill every need going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there are teams that, even with that as the curve, you still have to, I think, if in order to get an A as an offseason, it feels like you need to be quite clearly better than you were at this point previously, and I don't think that they are.
I'll call it an A-.